So I ended up joining a 32-man CFM with the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. Now the team that we have to do that with is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And before we get into the video, huge shout out to Kano Mano for allowing us to join his CFM. So if you guys would like to go check him out, then go do so. Go subscribe to him if you haven't. If you're also new here to this video, consider subscribing, drop a like. And okay, now we can get right into the video. So like I said, we were the Pittsburgh Steelers, and heading into the draft, I was kind of nervous, but we ended up with the 11th overall pick. Now my thought process going into this is that I wanted to build a team similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Steelers teams of the past and start with a gritty, tough defense. I believe our first pick solidified that with Micah freaking Parsons. Should be a nice end to rush off the edge for us. Now in the second round, we ended up going with another defensive stud. This time it was a big man in the middle, and I wanted to get this guy to clog up the lanes if they try to run the ball. So let's go ahead and pick Quinnen Williams right here with our second round pick. Here in the third round, I really wasn't done with defense either. We had gotten 2 defensive linemen, so I was thinking secondary with this pick, and who I ended up landing on was Derek Stingley Jr. He's a star development, 25 years old. I felt really good about this pick, and this should be an awesome defense, especially building around these 3. In the fourth round, we finally went offense, but you know what? I said I want my Pittsburgh Steelers teams to be like the teams in the past. I went ahead and took an offensive lineman with our first offensive pick in this draft. I really wanted to build the O-line so that we could just pound the rock, play good defense, and get out with some W's. Round number 5, I forgot to record me selecting the pick, but it was Quentin Nelson, superstar left guard. Again, let's get some big boys up front. Round number 6 was mostly the same thing. I ended up taking Trey Smith this time, 88 overall right guard, really just solidifying the line with our next couple of picks. At some point, we had to get an offensive weapon, and that's why I took T. Higgins. Not really the fastest type of guy, but if I do need a jump ball situation, he's a good guy to throw the ball up to. And with our 8th pick, we took Ryan Ramczyk, right tackle. However, this is going to be the last pick that you guys are going to see because I actually ended up falling asleep during the draft. So I guess you could say that's a huge L for me, but I guess you guys will have to see what the team looks like in here in just 1 second. So this is what the squad is looking like. Honestly, I like it a lot. We had an identity that we wanted to focus on, and we went out and got the players in order to install the culture here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I also wanted to say that I made a trade for Russell Wilson. Now, let me explain. We were supposed to do like 16 rounds. I was gonna pick a quarterback. However, I got tired, lay down, and ended up falling asleep. And whenever I woke up, we ended up having Mac Jones as our starting quarterback, and I just couldn't do it. So I ended up getting Russell Wilson for Leonard Fournette. Now, our receivers, they're nice. I mean, they're not anything crazy. However, they're not the main focus of the team. Basically, on offense, we want to kind of ground and pound these teams to submission. We have the O-line to do so. We have a nice looking running back core, especially with Raheem Mostert. If this guy finds a seam, he's gone. And some underrated tight ends in Isaiah Likely and Noah Gray. Now, as for the defensive side of the ball, I mean, we got some guys, especially on the defensive line, and Micah Parsons and Quinnen Williams. You know, and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, so the defense has to be good. The secondary could have been a little bit better, but we kind of went young. Not gonna complain. And our linebacking core, we got Quay Walker, Zaven Collins, and honestly, I don't really know how to pronounce this guy's last name. However, he should be pretty good. And if you guys don't know, we do end up getting 1 Hall of Fame player in this series. That basically means that we get to add a superstar to any player on our roster, and I chose Brandon Stevens, our cornerback. So yeah, very excited about that. Let me know what you guys think about the team and any upgrades that I need to make for this roster. However, as you guys can see, we do play the San Francisco 49ers week number 1. And taking a look at their squad, their best player is CeeDee Lamb, so we gotta watch out for that. He has some studs on this roster, especially a lot of young pieces. Quarterback is Jordan Love, so he can make some throws. Bijan Robinson and Dameon Pierce are the running backs. The receiving core is CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Mims, Nelson Aguilar. I mean, these guys are kind of fast, but other than CeeDee Lamb, we don't have to really pay attention to anyone else. Tight end, he does have Sam Laporta, but his backups are kind of mid. Offensive line, a 66 overall, 76, 76. Right guard is a 71, and then a 79, Andrew Wiley. I think we could dominate on the offensive line here in this game. You know, I'm expecting a lot of things from Quinnen Williams and Micah Parsons, especially Micah. You better be wrecking this game if you got to go against Greg Little. Everyone in our division except the Cincinnati Bengals have lost a game. The Bengals are 1-0. We kind of want to stay in the playoff race. playoffs and the divisional hunt, so we need to start off 1-0. And the season goal for us this year is obviously win the Super Bowl. Like, anything other than that is a bust. I feel like starting off 1-0 will be huge for us going into week number 2 because we have a divisional opponent, the Cleveland Browns. And again, I want to stay atop of this division. However, I guess with all of that being said, it's time for us to hop into game number 1. Jumping right into the game, he starts off with a mesh play, ends up hitting CeeDee Lamb for around the first down. The next play after that, he hit us with a inside zone and it picked up like 6 yards for him. However, on the very next play, he ends up hitting 4 verticals down the seam, and our free safety Epps ends up making a diving interception, which gave us the ball. And for our offense, of course, we have to start off with a little run counter to Raheem Mostert for 9 yards. And 2 plays after that, this is my first throw and pass of the season. I end up playmakering Isaiah Likely up, and the ball gets just underthrown, intercepted. He starts off this one with another mesh pattern. This time he hits Sam Laporta, and Laporta ends up picking up a good chunk of yardage. The very next play, again, he hits the same mesh pattern as earlier. We just get clicked onto the safety and don't make the play on that. The following play, he runs the same exact thing, looking for, I think it was the deep ball, however we hit him. And on 4th down, he hits us with a verticals look. Again, he dumps it off to Sam Laporta. Yeah, you're gonna see mesh and verticals like this entire game from him. Just like clockwork, again, he runs the same mesh pattern. I tried to put my guys to hard flat, however, they didn't stay there, and Marvin Mims ends up picking up the first down. Right after that, he hits us with another vertical play, and this time Nelson Aguilar scores. Listen, at this point, you guys may be like, Taunt, you know what he's running, you know what he's doing. Why don't you just stick in a defense that stops it? Well, I would, but we're not supposed to run the same exact plays. We're supposed to have a wide range of plays in our playbook and formations, and that does apply to defense as well. So I'm switching up my plays, trying not to run the same exact plays and formations over and over. So that's going to be my reasoning. However, we end up hitting Raheem Mostert on this play, and he picks up a nice first down for us. We start moving the ball downfield. This time Russell Wilson delivers a ball a little inaccurate, but still we made our way down to the red zone. Inside the 10-yard line, of course, we're going to go with another run, this time to the left side, and Raheem Mostert almost breaks away. Now we ended up stalling out, taking our points. It's kind of difficult going against the same 2 defensive looks over and over again, but guess what, guys? We play on, no excuses here. This time we have the verticals clamped up and we get a sack with Micah Parsons. Now right here, I do get a different look, so it throws me off guard. The crosser gets open, I realize it late, and Marvin Mims gets a first down. But again, wouldn't you guys know, it's the same mesh pattern I've seen like this entire game, except this time we drop the interception. Tough break for us. However, the next play after that, it's just the same mesh formation. This time he hits Marvin Mims on like a corner route. Of course, right here, he's going to his favorite play, verticals. It's like the same 3 plays we've been playing against. However, our guys get out of their rush lanes, and Jordan Love ends up getting the first down. I don't know what happened here, but he ends up shanking the field goal to the left, which, hey, I'll take that. It's a 7-3 ball game going into half. We end up getting ball out of half. However, our offensive line glitches out and he gets a free rusher. Interestingly enough, I end up looking this up on YouTube, and it's a YouTube defense, and I guess that happens at some points. Kind of annoying, but right here on 3rd and 18, we just dump it down to Michael Thomas, and it doesn't really make sense for us to go for it on 4th down, so on 4th and 9, we end up punting, plus our defense is playing really good. Haven't really allowed too much. We kind of know what he's doing. He comes out here, and again, it's the vertical thing. This time, I decided to run a 3-man front, and he just finds Marvin Mims down the seam. Now, it was kind of weird because anytime he didn't go to those 3 plays, he ended up getting clamped, so we get a sack right here. He tried going empty. On this play, though, he does get us. I think he's going to hit the crosser, but the last second, he hits CeeDee Lamb on a nice dig route. He shows a different look on offense, and I kind of guessed why he likes to run those 3 plays, because other than that, everything's getting clamped up. We get a nice interception from our safety, John Johnson III, and run it back to almost midfield. Now, for us, this was the problem. We were going against a YouTube defense, and I honestly hadn't even seen this at all. I was kind of thrown off by this defense, not gonna lie, but this is one of my favorite plays. Michael Thomas breaks that, gets a monster truck, breaks off a huge run, and then at the last second hits a spin move, and we get inside the red zone. It's pretty funny because that was short-lived. I tried to hit Raheem Mostert on the outside, and it kind of didn't really go how I thought it would, and Trent McDuffie was right there for the interception. Was kind of hoping that we could free ball it a little bit more to the sideline. He does break a huge run with Dameon Pierce, though. This one was for like 26 yards. 3rd and 7, big down for him, and of course he's going with the verticals look, and I was trying to adjust, I was trying my guys, and we end up leaving the middle of the field wide open. He switches things up, goes for a nice little stretch play, and Bijan Robinson does his thing, picks up the first down. And yeah, that's basically game. I didn't use any more of my timeouts. Thought he was just going to chew the clock at the end of the game, but he ends up hitting us with a hurry up offense type look. So at this point, I'm like, what the heck, dude? This game is basically over with. And while he's at the 5-yard line, he ends up hitting a bubble screen to Marvin Mims, dives in for the end zone. After the game, he told me that he didn't mean to score that, but you guys be the judge of that. Like I was saying though, that's the end of the game. It's 14-3. Technically in my head it's 7-3. I don't really count that as a score because the game is basically over. But GG's to my opponent. You live and you learn. It was a tough one. It was a defensive battle, but we ended up coming just short. Expected a lot more from Micah Parsons and Quinnen Williams, but I mean, they both had a sack. I don't really know if we have the personnel on the defensive side of the ball, and especially on the offense. The offensive line was kind of letting me down. However, again, it was my fault. I kind of shied away from the run game. Don't really know why. We were averaging 5 yards a carry. I don't know. I felt like I just didn't want to run the ball the entire time and just drain the clock. I don't know. Now, we did have 2 interceptions on the first one. I mean, I wish Isaiah Likely would have just ran up the field, just, you know, and whenever I put you up, just cut up there with an angle and run full force. So yeah, but that first one was on me, and the second one, that was on me as well. We did have some key turnovers. Now, I know we did give up 14 points, but I mean, 7 of those were at the end of the game. However, that's going to end up doing it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, then go check out my last video where my subscribers ended up pulling some heat. However, with all that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.